Welcome to Laugh and Learn, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Flame Monroe, along with my co-host right here, the beautiful and gorgeous Lauren Hogan, as well as Nick Smith on Nick Smith News. We're going to bring him in a second. Come on in, Flamettes, and Loungettes, and Firecrackers, and Vouchettes, and whatever you call yourself today, because, you know, we all identify as something different. Today, right this moment, I'm feeling like a girl. I put some makeup on in 5 minutes. Did I shower? I did not. I showered this morning. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just messing with y'all. Thank you for joining us. The conversation today is going to get a little heavy, and we're going to bring you guys in because next Monday, our very special in-studio guest right here at the Laugh and Learn studio, along with our wonderful cameraman, Kendall, and our beautiful camera lady, Triple, we will have the one and only Tasha K will be here, and the following Monday, the 21st, the executive producer of this show, my friend and our boss, the wonderful Tiffany Haddish, to discuss her new projects, her old projects, and some things that are near and dear to her heart. If you think you know Tiffany Haddish, and if you think we're about to talk about her career in the movies, you are in for a rude awakening because that sister is woke and knowledgeable, and she's going to hit y'all with a thing about women's rights and women's issues that I was very unaware of, but that she's very passionate about. So in order to be a part of the conversation, you have to join us. Hi, Lauren.
Hi, how are you?
I don't know. You looking at your phone. You ain't talking to me.
Listen, I'm multitasking today.
She got too many jobs, baby.
I got a lot of stuff going on today. So we got a little bit of multitasking. Just give me 1 second, but I'm here.
Well, we had a great barbecue yesterday. Lauren did come to the barbecue.
I surely did, and I ate.
It was catered.
No, it wasn't. You cooked. Y'all flame cooked. It was very good. I had some chicken, and the corn on the cob was really good. It was really, really good. Mm-hmm. Hats off to you.
Cooking is the third good thing I do. Yeah.
What's the first and the second?
This ain't love now.
On another note, though, I would like to say, guess whose birthday it is today?
Oh.
Prince. He would have been 63 today, so we have to give a special birthday shout out to Prince. He is one of my favorite artists. There you are. Hi, Nick.
Hi, Nick.
Hey.
Rest in peace, Prince. So yes. I guess Love Lounge tonight will be dedicated to the Prince and the Prince stuff. So
I'll tune in for that.
I'm wearing purple tonight, and I got some purple hair. We're gonna wear purple hair and do a Prince. Nicholas, you look very handsome today. What you do?
Can I just say I like you not in a suit.
You and Lauren are glowing.
There's a light right here.
Yeah, Kendall, this light got me looking like I'm.
You look good.
No. Halo.
Kendall said okay, and I'm not moving it.
He surely did. He gave us the look.
I apologize, Lauren, for not being in a shirt and tie today, but we're in the middle of a heat wave, so we've kind
Nick, I like this. I prefer you like this.
Oh.
I do. I like you more comfortable and lax. I feel like, yes, I like it.
Well, I'm not in agreement with that. You know what you look like? You know the commercial where the lady went on a date with the guy, he had washed a t-shirt and the t-shirt was all stretched out? That's exactly what you... No, I'm just... No, Nick, you look very handsome today. Why are you so shiny?
Yeah, I like this look. Oh. Are you in a different spot,
too? No, just in the living room this time around. So just turned around. That's all. If I'm looking that good, then why am I bayless? What's up with that?
Oh, now don't put your relationship business out on the street.
Because you know these flamettes is nightmare. They're going to be all up in your inboxes, baby. You know they don't stop.
That's me putting my opening bid in for Love Lounge later. That's all. So maybe Mother Fauci
you might
can put
find
in a
somebody
word
on that. Yeah, you might. Mm-hmm.
How was your week, Nick? How was your week?
You know, you open the show with one of three things you do well. I'm going to start with, you know what my favorite thing about you, Flame, that you never talk about?
Oh, tell me.
Seriously, it is your dedication to your friends. I know for a fact
that
I can name three people. Your friends. Shut up. Shut up. You know what? Move on. Lauren, never mind. Go right ahead. Because, you know, but I'm not dealing with that today.
Funny.
Look. Let me adjust myself.
Ridiculous.
Also, too, I want to give a shout out for some Black Girl Magic to Simone Biles. She won her 7th U.S. all-around title in the Olympics today.
Did you see her on the Uneven Parallels? Oh my! If that wasn't a reenaction of the Nadia Comaneci, she put baby. That took Nadia Comaneci's
flame. You remember Dominique Comaneci?
Nadia Comaneci. Yeah, that's very 70s. If you don't know nothing about that, watch the old commercial and say sports, the love and pain. And the man flew off. He was skiing and he flew off and did about 25 flips and crashed and broke arms, legs, and all that. Oh yeah, I used to love to see that. Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, so shout out to Simone Biles because she's making history. She's doing it despite, some of the critics trying to move the goal line for us and for her, I should say, and kind of just making it seem like they have to dull down what she's doing, but she's phenomenal and Black Girl Magic all the way around. So for sure.
That was amazing. I shared that this morning on social media. It was amazing. I saw it. She was fantastic. Yeah. Shout out to her. Shout out to another athlete, another female athlete. What's her name? Osaka?
Naomi Osaka, yes. And we're jumping into our first topic. Can I just say that I really like this dress?
Thank you,
I didn't see it until I'm looking at it now. It's very cute. Flame got dressed today. Oh my goodness. This is a first.
So I got dressed because last week y'all got him. He of the he, she, we. Today Nick didn't get a little lax. And Lauren is lax today too. Somebody had to show up to work. Ooh.
Oh, the shame. I show up as, the millennial of the group. So I stay on brand with who I am for this show.
Look at my mouth, Nickers.
I love that, Lauren. When you sent the topics this week, mentioned Naomi Osaka at the top. It was just, I felt like the timing couldn't have been better. I'm not sure if life imitates art or art imitates life. But this past week I took a break from social media because I just got inundated with a lot of things I thought were just ridiculously negative. And I remember Flame saying early on, Flame was like, why do you let this stuff bother you? You don't know all these people who follow you. But I think that what bothers me about it, just to be clear to those who watch the show, is I do feel an obligation to those with whom we engage regularly. We ask them to join, to watch the show, be part of the conversation. So then when I get comments that I felt like were completely off brand about what it is we do, or why aren't you elevating, why aren't you doing this, that, and the other, it bothered me because I feel like it's not only about me. I think we really do try our best to put together a product that we can, one, be proud of, and two, that where we try to engage with people. So when it hit me that way, I said, you know what, Flame, I'm really struggling here. And Flame's like, Nick, take a break from that. And that's exactly what I did. I said, I'm just going to put this down for a while. And it just felt so much better. Mm-hmm. So then on the heels of that, Lauren, for you to send Naomi Osaka, and for the round of criticism Naomi Osaka got in the beginning for just simply saying, you know what, this doesn't feel good to me. I'm not a professional speaker. I just want to come in and I want to play. I want to do my job. But the questions that come at me get in my head, and I don't handle it like everyone else does. And then for her to be roundly criticized for that, I just thought was another example of, once again, in my opinion, of a bias that still extends, one, around mental health, and then two, people of color saying that, hey, I need a little help here.
Thank you, Venus Williams, for your clap back. Ooh. Thank you, Venus Williams, for your clap back, because while y'all judging me, more than half of y'all can't do what I do on the court. So I didn't say it exactly the way she said it, but she shaded the shit out of the media, and I appreciate Venus Williams just for that. Thank you, Venus.
I did too. And I think that, Nick, in terms of the comments that we get on the show, I've learned to take them with a grain of salt too. Like, somebody called me Meghan McCain last week, and I cracked the hell up. I thought it was
Mark's
funny.
title. That's Mark's title.
Yeah, somebody called me Meghan McCain in the comments. So I think it's like, take it with a grain of salt. And I've honestly learned a lot of this too from Flame, is that, people have lots of things to say, but at the end of the day, you're still watching the show. So it is what it is. You know what I mean? But on the Naomi Osaka front, I also think that I want to applaud her for understanding that she needed to keep sane in order to do her job. Because I think in a lot of ways, Black women specifically, we get criticized in these, large arenas for how we act, or, for our attitude and these different things. We've seen it time and time again with Serena when she's, at the U.S. French Open. She's gotten criticized for yelling at the umpire because she has to defend and saying, that she's not being coached in the middle of her match. Or when she has an outburst at a press conference, it's, she's unprofessional, she's uncouth. All of these negative derogatory terms that the media puts out towards her. So I want to applaud Naomi Osaka for saying that, I can't do this, and taking the fine, and then ultimately saying, fine, I'm just going to withdraw from even participating, So she's a fabulous talent, and she knows what she needs, and she did what she needed to do. So.
And for those who may be wondering what we're talking about, if you're not familiar, Lauren and I opened the show talking about Naomi Osaka when she announced Monday that she would withdraw from the French Open just days after tennis officials fined her $15,000 and threatened to oust her from the tournament for opting out of its mandatory news conferences. Ms. Osaka explained via Twitter that speaking to the international media takes a heavy toll on her mental health, compounding the anxiety inherent to Grand Slam tournaments.
Let me tell you what I love. I love that she chose her integrity over the money. find me. I'm pulling out because I'm
Period.
talented enough and I'm young enough. See, she ain't 40 in tennis. She's very young in tennis. So I can miss a year because the money I'm still going to make in my endorsements, y'all missing out on watching me play as more so than I'm missing out on playing because she's that young and she's that brilliant and that talented. Hats off to you. And if more people would stand on their principle as opposed to looking at that check, we would have moved this needle just a little bit further. So whoever is in her camp, because she's a young woman, advising her, hats off to who's ever advising her, because I would have told him the same thing. Kiss my dick in the face. You're not going to ask me no questions I don't want to answer because I don't want to answer them. You getting in my head. I got a job to do. And as soon as I drop the ball at my job, you're going to say, oh, she wasn't ready. She wasn't good enough. But you have planted that in my head. Remember, I went back when I said, it's what you take into your DNA. Some shit I don't need to know. I don't want to know because I don't want to have to think about it later. So good for you, Naomi. Tell them I said. Tell them that we said. To fuck off. Jump off a bridge with no water at the bottom. Tell them I said.
I think, too, it's another example, Lauren, where you and I have talked about this, how there was an opportunity I felt there for also tennis and sports to engage, right? And say, you know what? Maybe we need to look at how these athletes are being treated and why fine immediately and not maybe say, you know what? Whoa, we didn't know that this was possible, that some people felt this way. What could we do to support this person who is clearly a revenue stream for our industry? Instead of chastising her, why don't we support her? And it bothers me that was not, it appears that was never even part of the conversation. The conversation was, we going to find you if you're not here. And then we
This is why. Yeah. You see my hand?
Yeah.
What color is the inside of my hand? Because had it been this color as opposed to this color, maybe that would have happened.
Or, I mean, we can talk about similarities in this situation. You know, Piers Morgan has gone after Naomi Osaka and is talking crap about her and saying all these different things. But I also read, too, there's a Russian tennis player that I was actually just arrested while she was at the French Open because she was intentionally throwing, matches to gain profit. But that's not a headline conversation. It's the fact that, all of these derogatory terms and talking crap about Naomi Osaka, saying that I'm valuing my mental health. That's the big headline. You know what I mean? So there's definitely a double standard.
Piers Morgan once again showed himself to be one of the most unpleasant people, period. He enjoys beating up on women. We've seen this time and time again.
No,
right?
I agree with you on that, Nicholas. But let me call it out for y'all, since I don't want y'all to say it because you in the media and you're a professional. I'm not. Piers Morgan has been angry ever since every black woman that he goes after shuns his ass. Sisters don't want you, player. Find you a white woman or whatever you want that wants you, because the sisters keep showing you that they don't want you, i.e., Meghan Markle, the sparkle with the real black girl magic. I'm talking about with the real black girl magic. Just had another baby for the ex-prince. Baby. Oh. And that baby could be the president of the United States.
And they named the baby after Diana.
The second name is Diana. The first name is is it Lizbeth? Lilibet, which is after the queen. She's somewhere kicking the shit out of somebody. The queen mad as hell. That old hoe kicking everybody. Baby, she mad as hell. Hats off to Harry and Meghan for having another healthy, beautiful baby to bring in. And this baby could actually be the president of the United States because this baby was born here in the United States. Wouldn't that be, you see how karma work around? Wouldn't that be something that little girl grew up to be the president of the United States? Woo! The queen would turn over in her grave. Yes, she would. She ain't dead yet, but in about 60 years when,
Well, I think, too, keeping in the lane of sports, we can kind of segue into the next, I don't know if it's the next topic on the list, Nick, but that's what's at the forefront of my mind, is that we also want to talk about the NBA and what happened, has been happening during the playoffs with Russell Westbrook, Trae Young, and Kyrie Irving, too. So at one of the Brooklyn Nets games during the playoff, Kyrie Irving had a water bottle thrown at him by a Celtics fan. Russell Westbrook had popcorn dumped on his head during a Wizards and 76ers game. And then we had Trae Young was actually spit on at an Atlanta Hawks playoff game. So,
and then remember the parents of what's his name were bullied in the stands,
Trae Young's parents.
Yeah. So yeah.
So there's been a lot of outcries for the NBA to do something and to actually protect the players. And, LeBron James has come out and made serious statements about what's happening, and other NBA players are saying, like, what are you guys going to do to protect us? Because people have been locked up in their houses for a long time, yes, but it's interesting to see that the fans that are really acting crazy are white. They are. They're rich white folks that kind of feel entitled. And I've read some of the narratives, but they're saying that, you know, these rich white folks are coming to the games, they're getting drunk and just feeling entitled and are, you know, basically, you know, accosting these players. So what are you guys going to do to protect them?
Can I say something? Where is Latrell Sprewell when we need his ass? Because when I tell you Latrell Sprewell would have came up out, would have whooped the referee and anybody in his way to get to whoever threw something at him. Where is Latrell Sprewell when we need him?
Well, the funny thing, too, is I loved Russell Westbrook's statement of, it's interesting that you want to come after me in, you know, an arena where I can't get to you, because if we was on the street, you wouldn't be that bold. You wouldn't know what would have happened. So, and a couple of players have made similar comments, which I think is true, because I wouldn't want to fight Russell Westbrook. He's crazy. So
it's not even crazy. The deal is you are a different person when you will walk up to a grown man and throw a bottle at him directly. I don't see that happening. So throwing a bottle from the stands, like Flame likes to say, is a coward move where you can throw and then hide your hands, you know? And even if, let's just be very clear, even if race were not the motivating factor, there's a level of privilege that just goes behind something that allows you to feel like you can, with impunity, just throw something at people or spit on somebody there, right? Like that I don't have to worry about consequences. I don't have to worry about anything because you are less than, and this is what I can do to you, you piece of property or you performer. Go dance, monkey. Go sing. Go do whatever it is. I dance. Dribble that ball. Just shut up and dribble.
Well, I'm
shut
not
up and dribble, right?
Yeah,
That's what what's her name, Laura, whatever from Fox said.
And in the defense, I know, and y'all know I'm never playing devil's advocate. I feel how I feel, but in defense of the other people who attacking about, I don't even want to know think that it's all race. I think that because some people are just fanatics about their teams. You know what I mean? Like if you're a Lakers fan and they playing whatever the rival of Lakers is, I don't know.
Celtics.
Yeah, okay. So some people are just real diligent about that. It wasn't had to do with color, even if it was a white boy that was on the opposite team. Some people are like, not many, but some are fanatics like that, like religious fanatics.
In this particular instance, this is what I'm going back to, and Lauren, help correct me here. In this particular instance, he had stomped on the logo before the game, right? And he used to play for the Celtics. All that having been said, had he spat on the logo, I still don't think you have a right to throw a bottle at him. And I think that's where I'm like, whoa.
Bottle? I would have rather the bottle than you spit on me, because if you spit on me, it's the lowest form of disrespect that you can ever do to another person.
And I think that's what the issue is, and that's why they're saying that there's a race component here, because I don't know of any... Like you just said, you would never spit on somebody. That's dehumanizing at the end of the day. So I think that's why the race component is coming into this, because it's white fans doing this. It's not black fans. Like, you may be a fan fanatic. I understand that you've been locked up in a house, but those aren't the... And personally, I have season tickets to the Laker games. So I've been going to the Lakers since they were at the Forum. Okay, I've been going to games for years. It's always the crazy white people at the game that have to end up being thrown out. I'm just saying that's what it is, because they get drunk off the beer and they start acting crazy, and then you got to call security and they got to get escorted out. That's just what happens.
I'm gonna put it in the air. Y'all better stop, because you know these basketball players have lives, and they before they became professional, they were guys hanging out on the street, hanging with their friends. When Pookie Ray Ray and them is up in the stands, and you don't know that Pookie Ray Ray and them with them, and you do some foul shit, they may not be able to get to you, but understand that don't mean that you can't get got.
That's true. That's true.
Not get God Flame. You're like, oh, you can
Well,
get
I'm
God.
telling you, if I'm thinking that I'm at a game and my life is threatened, I'm just doing my job, I'm going to have some protection in the stands to say, hey, get out of line if you want to, because it ain't got to come from me for you to get it. It came through me, but it ain't got to come from me. Understand that there is a method to the madness. And if you want to play mad, let me show you the method I'm going to get you with. Because you won't even know what's coming, baby. It'll be just like that coronavirus vaccine. If it didn't got you, you won't even know you got. Oh, I said it.
I kind of have to agree with Flame on that, because I feel like Russell Westbrook has Pookie and Ray Ray and them as friends, and I just feel like he does. He's a goon, like, by himself.
Hey.
I just don't understand the mentality of you thinking that was okay to dump popcorn on that man's head.
So when Pookie Ray and them come behind you, say, did you just throw popcorn on him? Oh, I was just joking. And then you come up missing for like 2 or 3 more games.
Makes sense.
Ridiculous.
Definitely makes
Absolutely.
sense.
But you know, Lauren, Flame, this ties into also, I think it's another example in the last few months we've talked about bad behavior we've seen displayed across the board in so many areas with people. Flame and I've had this conversation. We wonder how much of it is anxiety around the pandemic. People are back out now, and people are stressed or dealing with mental health issues that come in various forms. I'm not saying, not diagnosing someone else, but I think that stress is a true thing, that may be associated with this pandemic over the last year.
I think, this is my opinion, I think for sure the fact that we were all locked up in the house for over a year, and we're seeing things like people getting in fights on flights, and there's just a lot of built up, I think, emotion, and in some cases anger and anxiety, whatever you want to call it, wrapped up in a lot of people, and they're lashing out at this point. Like, we're seeing a lot of folks lashing out, and that's how we have all these different instances of fights and altercations and these things. So I think now more than ever, mental health should be prioritized, really, for everyone. In a lot of ways, I've had friends that said, I think everybody should have a therapist. I personally don't have a therapist, but it's just good to have an outside source to talk to where you don't feel like you're going to have, any biased opinions towards you, or you're going to be judged. So I think that at this point in time that we should all be prioritizing our mental health and encouraging people. If you need to talk to somebody, please go talk to somebody, because, we haven't experienced anything like this in over 100 years. So nobody really knows how to deal with this, So,
Lauren, I believe everyone of color should have a therapist.
Color.
I genuinely believe that.
Color.
Everyone of color.
Everyone.
Flame, I believe that being a person of color, we carry so much generational trauma that we have just inculcated into our day-to-day lives. Things we don't do because, that's not what we do, because they have not given us space to, or we've been somehow, it's been inculcated into our culture that we don't do that. But we watch them move in spaces where they don't have to worry about the repercussions of things. And I feel like being a person of color, we really need to have tools to deal with these things, the different layers of aggression that are both implicit and explicit. And I think that they happen every day in our lives.
We need more black therapists then, because ain't no white therapist finna tell me how to be black, period. And I'm sorry if somebody took that the wrong way. Ain't no white therapist can tell me nothing about being black. There is no white person that can tell me anything about being black. And I'm not saying that offensively. I'm saying that honestly from my DNA. There is not a Caucasian person on this planet that can tell me anything about being a black person, not even just in this country at this time, just period. And there's too many white therapists, and black people keep going to white therapists thinking they can fix you. White people can't fix you. White people are part of the reason that we are broken. Let's be very clear and very honest about it. There is not a Dr. Phil or nobody else that can tell me Ayanna black ass couldn't even fix it. She was just starting shit in your house and leaving. You have to find somebody that you can talk to, that you trust with, that you like. Just because you got PhDs and degrees does not mean that you can help me with my situation. And if you don't know my struggle and story because of my badge of honor, which is my skin color, there is not shit you can tell me. And please don't take that offensively if you're a white person on here, because I'm not dragging you. I'm just telling you what you cannot do for the flame.
I agree with that. I can't even hold you. And I think, because I know like last week we talked about, the Tulsa Race Massacre that happened 100 years ago. Part of that story was for 75 years, it wasn't talked about, but more so the black folks that experienced that trauma didn't want to talk about it because it was so traumatic and they didn't want to talk about it. So in that space, I definitely do agree with Flame, and I watch reality TV shows and everything else, but mental health has been coming up more and more. And on one show I was watching, there was a black male. He was saying, I'm a little depressed, the pandemic, I've got some anxiety, but the only person that I want to talk to that I feel like is going to understand me is another black male. Like, I want a black male therapist because I feel like he's going to understand my experience and not belittle my trauma. Mm-hmm. So in that space, I agree with Flame. I think we definitely need more black and people of color, mental health professionals, and doctors,
I'm going to even say
else.
this, Lauren, even using the race massacre as an example, I think that's part of the problem. So you had older blacks who didn't want to talk about it because that was traumatic and painful for them. We can agree. Want to talk about it. So they didn't share it with us. We talked about it amongst ourselves, how there were people within our group who knew nothing about it, right? So that information, that pain, that legacy is lost by not talking about it. So then we are prone to either allow mistakes from the past to repeat themselves because we don't have the information and the knowledge to stop it, because I feel as though the benefit the oppressor has had is making us uncomfortable speaking and talking about our own truth, right? So what happens is they sit there and like, well, if they ain't gonna talk about it, we ain't gotta talk about it, because they'll just forget about it and move on. I can tell you right now to this day, and I don't know if I should be ashamed or what, but I love Sound of Music. I'm sorry, Gone with the Wind, Flame. I love the other one that Flame and I like with Betty Davis. But they make slavery seem so
trivial.
It's I won't even say trivial. It's part of the story, and it's an integral part of the story, right? But what it isn't the horror story Flame talks about. Nobody putting bags over the son's head and making them have sex. Like, I didn't see that part in Gone with the Wind. It's just, so, and I didn't see that part in, I can't think of the name of it now, Flame, with Betty Davis that we both love. But it's just, but it's a thing where they made sure the history was told, but it was told in a way that wasn't true to our history and the way we know it. So
No. It was told from their view. It was told from their eyesight. It wasn't because you're talking about the movie Jezebel with Betty Davis.
Jezebel, thank you, Flame. Thank you.
But it was told from their point of view. So it made slaves like we love being slaves. We were happy. We were joy. We love to be complicit and compliant. That is not the truth. They didn't show the beatings and the lashings. So I know what you're saying, Nicholas, but I don't agree with that. And I do love Gone with the Wind too. And I don't want them to remove it. I know they were saying they want to remove it. But if we, like you said, if we don't know our history, we will repeat it. The problem is too many black and brown people are relying on the colonized education system to teach our children black history. It is your goddamn job in your house to teach your children what you have been through, which means that you need to sit down and have a conversation with your mother, your grandmother, and whoever else is older than them so they can come down through the lineage and tell you the truth and not what they want you to know in the textbook. Because right now there's a whole bill to remove black history. They don't even want to talk about slavery, and they don't want to talk about the Jim Crow South now. They want to remove that from school. It is your job as a black person, as an indigenous person, as any person of color to teach your children their own history, because they're not going to teach you in school. Everything is just Martin Luther King. Child, Martin Luther King didn't believe in violence. Slap me if you want to. I'm going to show your ass Malcolm X. You're going to be sitting right next to him. Shit, fucking with me.
Well, I think, too, the important part is us, as to your point as well, Flame, is also taking back our history. And I think one of the most recent examples that I can think of in terms of movie cinema is we all remember, when hopefully a lot of us remember when Birth of a Nation originally came out, and what the premise of that movie was about, to showcase that, black men were raping white women and black men were so problematic and black people need to be in chains. And then in 2016, Nate Parker decided to remake the movie and tell it from the perspective of what was actually happening to slaves during that time. And I think the remake of Birth of a Nation was probably one of the most explicit films that really gave insight to what slavery was like. So I'd say that, as well as I think it's also too about taking back our history. And I know a lot of times I see all over social media, people are like, I'm tired of seeing these movies about slavery and black trauma. I want to see us celebrated. I wholeheartedly agree with that too. I want to see black culture celebrated and all the amazing things that we've done for this country. But we still have to remember where we came from.
Say that again, Lauren. You're tired of seeing it. Imagine if you had to live in it.
Right.
Our ancestors lived in it every day.
Right.
And this country, once again, has existed with slavery being a part of it much longer than it has without. So we have to also recognize that.
That's very true.
And that's real. So when I say to you that I feel like we carry that trauma in so many different ways, that it just manifests itself in ways that we don't even think about because it's inculcated into our DNA, I genuinely mean that. When I decided this summer to come out and just call myself Big Black, it wasn't because I haven't always known I was big and black, but I was ashamed of being big and black because I've moved in spaces where they wanted people who looked more like Flame. Nick, you're a little too dark. You're not.
No, they don't want to look like me.
No. Anyway, you get what I'm talking about. Go, Lauren, go.
Well, no, I mean, we can actually, let's bring in some Flamettes and see what they got to say. We've talked about a couple of things so far.
Flame, what are you doing? Are you doing Pilates? Are you doing yoga? What are you doing?
She stopped eating bacon.
No, that's not true. I ate 5 pieces this morning.
You said you stopped eating that.
No, I said I cut back. I ain't stopped eating shit. Diet. What color?
Oh my gosh. Anyway, what have you been doing differently?
Here's the question I want to ask upon my listeners, and I want y'all to answer me this. And I want this from black folks, please. And I'm not being racist, but this is what I want. What is the black agenda? Please answer that question for me. And don't come on here just talking about reparations and money. Of course we need that. What is the black agenda?
Hi, Dawn. How are you?
Hello, Dawn.
Welcome
Hey,
back.
y'all.
We missed you last week.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Girl, you changed your hair since coffee time this morning. Look,
I,
I changed mine too. Oh.
I took the fun out. My head was hurting and thought I let my braids hang down. That's all.
Don, you've been listening to the conversation. Before you answer my question, what is the black agenda? Tell me what you think about our conversation we've been having thus far, please.
About
Oh,
athletes and everything else.
I've been agreeing with everything. I've been agreeing with you said, Lauren. Flame, Nick, I agreed everything, but the athletes, these people are just losing their minds. Hey, Jan, they losing their minds.
Hey.
And why they sitting up there throwing stuff at people? But the little young lady, the Naomi,
Naomi Osaka.
she has every right to protect her mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Which somebody would have taught us 25 and 30 years ago to protect our mental health. So she's young and doing it. She's making money, and if they don't like it,
Mother had them, mother love them. You know the rest.
yeah.
Motherfucker.
Oh,
Yeah.
TT Jan with your nasty.
TT Jen, please speak up on the issue because you've been in the comments kind of heavy. That's why I had to bring you in because I know you got some thoughts about these NBA players. So go ahead and share.
First, Kyrie started that stuff in Boston, and he knows what that logo means to those people in Boston. You can't reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
He knew what he was doing.
Fanatics.
They don't even have happy hour in Boston because of the way they act with liquor. But anyway, if black NBA players would start marrying their own, they wouldn't have been running into this. If they thought them white people was going to
You
that
cut
kind of
deep,
money,
Jan. You
and
cut
sit
deep.
there and watch them play, and they sitting there wishing that they could do it like them, then you gonna turn around and marry our women?
That's right.
Oh yeah, all that's hidden aggression. White
Say
folks
it again,
wait
T.
until the plane take off and then start acting ass. They never do it on taxiing. They wait till the plane in the air. So I believe that you better love, honor, and respect your black woman, and it'll be a brand new place.
Well, the show is over. Ladies and gentlemen, we have had a wonderful laugh and learn today because TT Jan just did shut it down, baby. While y'all talking about in Birth of a Nation, while they saying that black men raping white women, there's no need for you to rape a white woman. All you need to do is say that you're a professional athlete. There's no need. They gonna throw the panties at you.
Right.
Child.
And see,
Is that the title of the show?
The title of this show is "What is the Black Agenda?" But I tell you what, we could say, if you want some white cat, all you got to do is say you're a professional athlete. You can say you're a hockey player, and there ain't even that many of us in hockey shit. And in as much as I agree with both of you ladies, we cannot fault the black women. We have to fault the black man. It's the black man who keep thinking that marrying Becky with the good hair is going to raise your standard. And love is love. I'm not knocking love. If you're in love with that person, I get it. But don't marry for thinking that that's going to be your trophy wife or your stature, because there's beautiful black women to be your trophy wife and smart.
Flame. But this goes back to generational trauma. Help me here, Dawn.
We got fupas. We too dark and we got fupas. They don't want that.
Oh,
Well,
white
Dawn-
women have
Dawn,
fupas
TT
too.
Jan,
What's a
right?
fupa?
Yeah, but they got the money to go get theirs taken care of.
I ain't got
That
no food
That
for
upper
this. The way
pussy
I was
area.
made.
Oh. I don't have fupa. I got dupa.
I ain't got that either.
Well, I got a fupa and I'm too dark and they don't want no woman to sit up there.
I ain't
with them and toil
gonna
with them.
never self-eliminate. If we in the starting gates, I'm running my best race. I don't know who's standing next to me in the room. Ever.
You know what's
Unless she
interesting
drop
though?
out of the ceiling.
You know what's interesting though that I just realized it's like the players that get messed with the most. I just had an epiphany are the ones that have the black wives. Have y'all realized that? LeBron James has a black wife. Russell Westbrook has a black wife.
Right.
They're the ones that get, kind of targeted the most in the NBA. That's interesting.
It's hidden aggression. white men are not sitting there cheering for you unless they think they have the upper hand. So they already mad that you're these big old statuesque men with all this athleticism,
and
and then for the larger portion of the numbers, you didn't had all these white women, come, because when the rookies come, that's the only
first thing they get.
only people they bring around them.
That's right.
Or those groupies.
That's
so
right.
It's all staged for every sport in college. So when you get LeBron and X, Y, and Z, they take that hidden aggression, that past aggression, and they pass it on to them. They don't want it to look too obvious. You know what I mean? And I really believe that the Kardashians think they got everything on lock. Ain't no white boys gonna sleep behind all them brothers.
No.
They don't want all that messed over stuff.
No.
But the brothers keep.
No.
Oh, you are. Stop it, Flame. That's so ugly. Oh my God, Flame, that's so ugly. You are.
And it's like they go after black men. That's all they go after.
You
And
know.
you know what? And the black men show their asses to them every
Well,
time.
well, in defense of the black men, Nick, I'm going to let you come right in. In defense of the black men, when it comes to the white women, a lot of black men, young black men, watch porn, and they watch a lot of black men destroying white girls in porn. It is a fantasy in their head. It starts in their teen years, and it's looking, Nick, it's the truth. So it really is the truth that you watch a lot of porn. And they watch these big black bucks destroying these little white girls, and that is a fantasy. So they want to live out that fantasy.
That fantasy sometimes get them 20 to 25 years in the penitentiary too, fucking with them white gals.
Yeah, it does. It does. But I'm telling you, it starts young because I've caught my son watching porn, and he watches
He
the
didn't go
black
to
guys.
to the black site.
He watches a lot of the black guys sleeping with the white girls.
Well, tell him to go into Google.
But
and
you
type
know
in
what?
Black porn. Black
If
people
you
porn.
have self-hatred, that's what you desire. If you have self-hatred, I mean, I've sat up amongst women in the parent groups when we're watching our sons play. First rite of passage is, oh, you know, these white people crazy about him. What the hell did you just say to me?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a rite of passage. Oh, you know, this white family. Oh, this white. And all it is a cycle building in his mind.
Exactly.
That's all it is.
Come on with it, Nick.
You know,
Whoa.
so I really believe that, you know, part of that is passed on generational curse.
That's trauma.
And I think part of it, you know, they can't wait to celebrate these boys because all the white people really want to hang out with them. When they get on campus, they don't walk to their classes. They have somebody taxi them over in golf carts. They already start giving them this imagery, and all they surround them with is a bunch of white folks and white girls.
Right.
You better think about it.
That's
Self-hatred. You got to know your worth.
Okay, hold on, Nick. Go ahead and chime in. Come on. I know you want to say something.
I think that everything that has been said is completely valid, but I also think that sometimes the simplest answer is the easiest one. I think that young boys in particular, having been one, you covet what you see. So if all you see is hustler, if all you see is playboy, if all you see is, you know, the guys who are stars right now and they're with a particular actress who may or may not be black. And we've got to remember, too, that there aren't many black actresses in as many because they don't get booked as often as some of the other actresses because so they're going to the sites and the productions that they enjoy. So that's what they're seeing. And I don't think it's so much conscious decision to only prefer a particular type of woman. I think that also, and this is just me, and I don't want to go into an area that's too blue in case there are those who, this isn't Love Lounge, like Flame would say, but I also think that men, ladies, don't make that association like, for guys, I think it's really physical more than emotional. And I don't know how to say that. I don't want to sound crass, but I think that...
That's not it, Nick. I'm sorry, brother.
Okay.
You know, I love the vagina. So I'm going to speak on this because I fucking love the vagina, period. And it could be any color. When I want to smash, I'm not looking at the color. I'm turning the lights out and going in. But the fantasy for the young black brother, a lot of the young... Because what you're speaking old school, hustler, playgirl... All that shit is online now. Pornhub and Twitter, you can see anything you want to. You can see them fucking goats and everything else if you want to, because that is well, it's the truth. It has become readily available at the tip of your fingers. So it's a lot of it is fantasy. A lot of it is fake. But when you get a chance to live it out in real life, that makes it different. And it's not about them not being loving with their sisters, because black women promote black men to marry a black woman. Period. Yeah. That is the truth. Black mothers promote their black sons to marry a black woman, but you have no say-so over what your son marries or who they fall in love with. So what Jan and Don was saying, when these young college boys getting ready to come to college again, they slew you with a gang of white girls. They let them white girls do any and everything to your body that you've never experienced. So you think that sisters don't do that because the white girls have done everything. So you think a black woman ain't going to do that. Right. So that is why they get in their head and ingrained in their DNA that I have to marry somebody like this because she's going to keep me satisfied. So it is not that, Nicholas, at all. I promise you it's not. Now, you know, I hadn't been across the spectrum. I had Asian, white, black, indigenous, homeless, crazy. By the way, the craziest bitches got the best. I'm thinking about just getting me a cot and sitting outside the mental health facility because them girls right there got the good. I'm telling you right now, I'm just trying to get me some Meghan Markle to sparkle, baby, because Cardi B, her man kept cheating on her. But I'm telling you, it is ingrained in their head because they're young, and it's fucked up. And I'm telling you, it's fucked up. But black women who have black sons really push for their black sons to marry a black woman. Where it gets smoky in the water is especially when they're professional athletes or they're going to be professional athletes. When they get to them colleges, them coaches and all them people get in their head and slew them with a ton of Beckys with the good hair.
I think
I have lived,
and all they do is take them and use them and make them babies, and then that's a cash cow for the rest of their natural lives.
Well, I think an example to what you're talking about, I can't think of the name of the movie, but
Tiger Woods.
No, I'm talking about the movie. It's a Spike Lee movie, but it's with Ray Allen and Denzel Washington.
Yeah, He Got Game.
He's Got Game. Thank you. That's a perfect example of it. Thank you. I couldn't think of the name.
Exactly. You know,
and it's just a fact. And then, you know, the little white girls have the car. It's like you're feeling stardom. Even if you know you're not going to play professionally, it boosts your ego.
Yeah.
You know, they don't make the playing field very leveled when you get there. Because they're promoting her.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I have lived that.
And you know what, to add to what you're saying, TT Jan, and because the HBCUs don't have the money like the big white schools does, they go to the white schools because that's where the money is. But
they changing that, baby. You better look at them black.
TSU just got $500 million, baby.
You better be careful because them HBCUs are coming for blood. We are promoting them, and it all turned.
Start going to these schools and getting these kids. They need to go get
Dion.
Well, that's a whole nother issue too that you guys are talking about in terms of HBCUs and sports. Is that TT Jen is absolutely right. We have, or I think Dawn, I think you just said that, is that we have a lot of these like athletes that are coming out of high school that are, you know, possibly like NBA players or NFL players, and they're going to these PWIs, which stands for predominantly white institutions. For those that you don't know, they're going to these PWIs because that's how they know that they can get their contracts. You know, if you historically, if you went to a Howard University for a basketball scholarship, you may not get drafted as a first round draft pick for the NBA. You know,
but if you can go play for Coach K at Duke, you know, there you go, or UNC, absolutely.
Exactly.
So the economics play a huge part.
If you don't get picked for the NBA at a HBCU, you got your degree. You had professors that cared about you to get your lesson.
Yeah, but that ain't what they looking to get.
Dawn, that ain't what they looking for.
I know what they're not looking to get, but you know what I would tell children: if you don't get a degree, if you get a degree in bullshit, just as long as you got one.
I hear part of what Dawn is saying though, because you know, even dudes that I've talked with that have been athletes, it was like, oh, I'm just gonna go for a year and get out and try and go be in a big league or anything. And I'm like, no, get your degree at the end of the day, because if you get hurt, what's your fallback plan? You don't have it. You don't have a degree. You don't have anything else to do. So I hear what you're saying on that front, Dawn. I agree with that. You still need your education,
but nobody
get it in bullshit.
Nobody is going to take a chance of being hurt playing college ball and be knocked out from getting a contract or going on. So yeah, they do go for an education, but they already know they're a short-termer. Trust me. I've been around too long to know that to be factual. They don't even plan on getting degrees. Mm-hmm. Some do go back later, but when you're talking about money, to set your family free,
especially your mama,
to buy your daddy a car, that's a good ass feeling. I wish I could move mountains.
Have they started paying those kids in college yet? Have they made a decision to start paying?
Right. You know, and I'm not mad at them about that at all. I'm not mad about that at all. At all.
Okay, so here's the question I want to propose to both of you all. What is the Black agenda?
Okay, hold up. Dawn, you go first. Go ahead, go first.
Well, like I said earlier, it's so much that we need. Hell, where do we begin? I don't know where to begin. That's a wide question. But where do we begin? I don't know. We need so much. We need laws in place for us. You know, it seems as though I've said this earlier. Everybody else can get things targeted for their race, for their community, except us. You know, we need protection. We need fair housing. We need what is it called? We just need everything. You know, but we need to have the right representation to speak for us.
You know what? I'm going to differ just a little bit. I don't think there's an agenda. And I don't want to be landlocked with saying X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't want to chisel it down on paper. This is the Black agenda. Because it's like you said, Dawn, we need everything. So I can't walk up and say, hey, give me that and give me this. Because in the next 5 years, it could change for something else for the kids behind us. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I don't see a agenda being a blueprint or a tempest for the future. How about just giving us fair opportunity? How about you knowing I'm not wishing that I'm you. I'm okay with being me.
Right.
See, you got a problem with me. I don't have a problem with you. Mm-hmm. I never woke up saying I wish I was blonde with blue hair. Mm-hmm. I like being Black. It's not convenient, but I like this.
Exactly.
Nick, what do you think?
I think, for me, I do think that there is nothing wrong with an action plan, and one that begins with an honest conversation about acknowledging our history. Lauren, I genuinely believe we can't get anything done until we really have a conversation about who we are as a country, the pain we have inflicted on a people, the way I believe race and bigotry and racism is inculcated in everything that is, quote, end quote, American. And that is around housing. That is around healthcare. That is around education. So I think until we have a conversation about who we are as a country, how this country was built on the backs of Black people who were enslaved, I really think everything else is perfunctory.
Yeah. So this is my thought, and I'm going in a little different lane.
Okay.
I think the Black agenda should be us as a Black community getting on one accord first and foremost. That's what I think. Because I think within our community, we still have a lot of underlying stigma that has not been addressed. There's still an issue of Black folks not accepting, the LGBTQ community and their stigma around that. I think that there's still an issue of us not knowing how to support one another, like we see in other communities like Asian community and different things like that. So I think until we as Black folks can actually get on one accord and truly support us, no matter what shade we are in this essence, in this instance, we can't get anywhere because we're going to keep fighting each other. Yeah. We got to start there first before we expect somebody from an outside race to actually support us and do something. That's how I feel.
Yeah. Lauren, and I know Flame is going to close this out, but Lauren, if we're saying that and just being honest in this safe space, because it's only the five of us, I still have my own personal biases against people who are light skinned and quote unquote pretty, right?
I have that too, Nick.
Okay, thank you, Don. Don, because I grew up. Well, so and so got good hair, and so and so light skinned, so that made him more attractive. So I was never the one picked, and so I still walk around with that bias. I was never a 32-inch waist because I was always a bigger. All the girls that look like Lauren always wanted he fine because he got good hair. You know what I'm saying there? So it's always that thing too. So if you weren't a Kappa, you couldn't get Lauren's attention. Not you, Lauren, but Lauren, you know what I'm saying.
I get your example.
So it's one of those things where I've got to get past my own bias that, Flame is always going to be more popular because Flame was light skinned. Flame was small. Can I say Marcus?
Bitch,
Marcus.
I don't care. I mean, I'm sorry, Nick. Look.
She forgot what show we were on. Sorry, go ahead.
But old pictures of Flame, you sit there, you're like, damn, 30-inch waist, good hair, light
26, but don't do that.
So you get the idea, though.
But let's talk about the different hues. Look at my arm right now. My top of my arm is light, and my titty, and look at the bottom of my arm. It look like I got gloves on. We come in so many beautiful shades and so many gorgeous hues. It's not them. Something like y'all saying. It's not always them. It is some of us. And I don't know the darker struggle because I've never been dark. Even though I think there are beautiful dark people in the world, and I talk about it on Love Lounge all the time. I think Tika Sumter from Have and Have Nots is one of the most beautiful black women on the planet right now. And she is dark skinned, but she is a beautiful woman. We got to get past looking at the hue. So I get that part. But my black agenda right now, because if we had a town hall, if Biden called for a meeting right now with a black leader and with the white folks, and he asked the black leader, let's say President Obama, what is the black agenda? You can't come with 10 things. You got to come with one thing that's going to have an impact on all the black community, because all of these so-called celebrity rappers and all these people who had so much influence 6 months ago was telling us, hold your vote until they come up with the black agenda. They told us to hold the vote, but they never laid out a blueprint on what the black agenda was. Ice Cube said that he was going with Trump's plan of what? Trump's plan is to annihilate and get rid of anybody that's not fall in line in complicity with what his plan is. This has nothing to do with black. Black is at the bottom or at the top. But if you are rich, you are in his pocket. All them niggas is quiet right now. You don't hear none of them niggas saying a damn thing. But the 2022 primaries are coming up. I want them to have the same energy then that they have now. Don't say shit, because you're doing detriment to your people, and too many people are lost in their own mazes of their mind. So you play follow the leader with somebody who don't know who the fuck they are. So you want to follow them. Lost follow lost. That's why 74 million people voted for Trump, because lost follow lost. I ain't lost. The Flame S ain't lost. You got to know who you are. You have to know who you are in order for your life to be successful. Period. Exactly. And that don't mean being rich. That means being content and happy.
Yeah, and having some plain old common ass sense.
Well, good luck with that. All these dumbasses on here, shit.
Yeah, I think that's why I'm saying is that until we as a community get on one accord, nothing is actually going to move forward because of things that I just said. Flame said, we've all said between the five of us. Until we get on one accord, there is no moving forward. There isn't, because we got, like you said, we got Ice Cube saying to hold your vote. We got this one, over there, we have the Kanye Wests, and I could go on, about the
just acting a damn.
And that's what I'm saying,
and they know that, because we're not on one accord, and that's why they
and you know who told us that, and we didn't listen? Nancy Pelosi. When they tried to impeach Trump the very first time, she said we're not ready. She didn't mean that we didn't have the information to impeach this fool. Right. What she meant was that we are not together as a unit to do it together. We all over the place. The Democrats, first of all, let me talk about the Democrats need some balls. Yeah. Second of all, I watched the news this weekend. I do believe that Liz Cheney was part of the conspiracy theory that I talked about. She made it look like she was for us. She never was. You see how quiet she is now? You see how quiet she is now?
Okay, we could get into Liz Cheney. I was really upset that everybody was trying to root for her and everything. I'm like, Liz Cheney's record, she's still like 70% of the time voted with Trump. So let's just call a spade in that space.
Me.
So But anyway,
she got me for a minute. She did get me for a minute. I ain't gonna front. She did smooth me over. But if I see her, I'm taking a deer hunting like her daddy went. Ooh.
Here's the deal. Again, I believe this, and I'll close it out because we're at our time. But part of the secret, too, with the oppressor is to continue to have those who are oppressed fight amongst themselves, right? So what happens is we forget all about the For the People Act. How simple was it? 5 months ago, we talked about, of course, it makes sense that we should have clear voting rights across the country. They have chipped away at that. Now it doesn't look like we have the momentum for that we're even questioning, well, what are Democrats doing? We were all on board on this not even 5 months ago, and something happened in the political discourse because there's always a shiny object, right? They throw out vaccine, they throw out stimulus, they throw out economy, things to distract. So the bouncing ball continues to move, and we're doing like this, right? So the political discourse, the conversation changes, and we're still no closer to enacting laws that guarantee people who are part of this country the opportunity to participate in a fair and free election. And that's absolutely ridiculous. That should be part of the black agenda.
Well, it won't happen in our lifetime. The only way we're gonna ever get fair treatment in this country or in this world, God gonna have to destroy the whole earth, and we have to start over because it's just not gonna happen. It is too many people who you trying to make me. I got my glasses on. I see everything with my glasses on. But I watched January 6th, and January 6th in this country meant two different things to two different sets of people. To us, we were celebrating in Georgia that we turned Georgia blue, but to them they were insurrection. They were rioting at the Capitol, but they said that it was like tourists and woo woo woo. I ain't never seen no tourists busting windows and shit.
Exactly. They were executing their right. Their right. That was their right.
And we still didn't get the whole story about that.
Of course not.
They put shit on the walls. They peed in people's office.
And Jan, we won't because not enough people believe it's necessary to have a bipartisan investigation. And we all watch this, but that's gaslighting at its best. You did not see what you thought you saw. What are you talking about, Flame? Flame, it was a tour. Why do you try to make it something that it wasn't? It was a simple tour like any other day at the Capitol.
But
I'm a real woman.
If I decide that I in my head and write it down that I want to go and finish what they did January 6th, they'll stop my plan before I even get over there.
Well, that's already been established too, is that there's some, congressional leaders and senators that said if this was Black Lives Matter, of course I would have been scared. They wouldn't have even breached. They would have been climbing up the wall like Spider-Man.
Here's the kickoff. Here's the kickoff. This nigga say in August that they were going to reinstate him back into presidency. Yeah, right. Understand me. If y'all wanted a civil war, y'all didn't get what y'all wanted. Be ready.
Well, I will say on that to note too, the one time I will give Mark Zuckerberg a shout out, they did suspend Trump's account until 2023 for the next 2 years. So that is somewhat a good thing for Facebook and Instagram.
But he could have done it indefinitely.
It's true. He could have.
You know what I see it as they're just trying to get past the 2022 primaries. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's small, but I appreciate Mark Zuckerberg doing that because
you're right.
Because Facebook honestly perpetuates a lot of hateful messaging. They do.
Don't read the messages, Nicholas. Don't read the comments.
I find them funny.
Jim Jones ain't got shit on 45. I don't know what Papa got in his mouth.
Yeah,
but
you got a point there.
I don't know if that's the red Kool-Aid or the green Kool-Aid, or the blue, or the orange, as we say.
It's definitely
purple.
It's slow. It's the slow. We ain't gonna do that to Prince. It's the slow Kool-Aid.
Oh,
it gotta be.
It's the slow Kool-Aid.
It got.
On a lighter note, ladies and gentlemen, on this Wednesday, I'm celebrating my very first graduation. My son is graduating from high school this Wednesday. Yes. I also have one Monday and Tuesday of next week, so I'm a proud bird over here.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. Well, as always, thank you, Dawn, and thank you, TT Jan. This was a great, unexpected convo.
It was wonderful.
And we see you guys tonight at Love Lounge. Thank you, Jan. Thank you, Dawn. We will see you at the Love Lounge tonight. Nicholas, where you at? Where you at, baby?
I'm here.
There he is. Quite interesting conversation. And see, what it is that the Black agenda means so many different things to so many different Black people. Because if you ask people, the first thing they holler is reparations.
Well, the thing is, you know why we're not on one accord? Why we can't get an agenda together? Because we're not on one accord.
There it is. Right.
Yeah, that's why.
Right. Nicholas.
And Lauren, we're not a monolithic people because once again, we definitely like this conversation for that reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would you like, Nicholas? Would you like reparations?
I believe reparations are only a part of the whole process.
Yeah. But let me ask you a question. So if they gave every black person $300,000 and the black person, because some people will have a plan. Some people are businessmen and that $300,000 will last them because they will grow a business, start a business, grow a lifetime. But if I gave it to my uncle, who I know is a fucking drunk and gonna go on the corner and get high and play cards, gamble, so $300,000 might last him 3, 4, 5 months, and then he's broke again. Then what? You see what I'm saying? If you ain't got no blueprint, if you don't have a plan, a master plan, you don't deserve the money somebody needs to eyeball to make sure that you are following the guidelines that you set up for yourself.
I just want to say this too. I don't want what I'm saying to come off like I'm putting all of the onus on the black community of why we're in this state, because that is not true at all.
Absolutely not.
We are in this state is because of systematically what has happened to us. That is definitely a fact of, colorism, of us being basically crabs in a barrel amongst each other. So it was definitely outside forces working. But to Flame's point is that
outside forces continue to work.
Continuing, absolutely.
Ooh, you're not going to talk about Tim Scott on my live. You're not going to talk about Van Jones on my live.
But I'm just saying is that, so where do you start? Do you start at the land ownership? Because if you give people land, though, and they can't pay for it, then you're back in the same place that you started. So it's like, where do you start?
Or they don't have the training to cultivate. I got a whole garden in the back and the dead tomatoes because I don't know how to plant. I don't know how to do that. Training. I need training. You have to teach me these things so that I will know.
So where do you start? Because if you don't know how to file your taxes correctly and you get a lien put on your house, and there's just so many different things that could possibly happen because we just don't have the education. We don't have the generational wealth.
Things aren't getting passed down. Things set up to make you fail.
Yeah.
And then when you do get it, let's say you get the property, then we're back in a situation where maybe through, just simply through a different act or a different proclamation, we take that land because we're going to do, eminent domain. And, we're building a highway. Guess what, Nick? That place that you had over there at 47th and Cottage Grove, we're just going to go through that because we're building a new freeway, Or
I think ultimately what has happened and what we've seen has happened, they'll just kill us. The ones that knew how to do what we're talking about, they were just murdered. That's what happened.
Or drag somehow, image sullied, whatever the thing is. Absolutely. I completely agree.
First of all, Nicholas, 47th College Grove is in Chicago. And if y'all don't know, I did some of my best work on 47th College Grove in my teen years. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for joining us for Laugh and Learn today. Remember that next Monday, our very special in-studio guest will be the fabulous Tasha K. And the week after that will be our executive producer, our friend and our boss, which is the one and only Tiffany Haddish, will be here talking about her new FloJo movie that's coming out, and among some other things. There's a topic that she wants to talk about that is very near and dear to her heart about the abortion rights in the South. And when I tell y'all Tiffany gonna hit y'all with a hammer, get ready.
Did you see that video?
Woo! Get ready.
Did you see that video?
On the 2 weeks from now, y'all think y'all know Tiffany Haddish, but you don't. But I promise you, you don't. But it's going to be a great conversation. But next week, me and Tasha K gonna cut up because she was nice to me on her show. Oh, bitch, I'm about to pull it all out. I want to know all the dirt.
I'm gonna be Switzerland.
And Flame, before we go, can you talk to us once again about Foolish Fridays?
Foolish Fridays with Karen Hunter has been going so successful. Thank you guys for joining us on Sirius Radio Channel 26 every Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific no. What time will we come on? 12? EST. EST. 3 o'clock East Coast time, noon here PST, Pacific Standard Time, and it has been going great. Thank you guys for chiming in with the questions. It's taking off like a rocket. So I do that with Karen Hunter on Sirius Radio every Friday on channel 126.
And you have an interview too this Friday.
And I have an interview this Friday with Sirius Radio. Oh, happy Pride Month. It is Pride Month, but Pride starts with you. Will you Pride in January, February, March, and April, and May? And will you be Pride in July, August, September, October, November, December? Because Pride starts with you. I'm not just proud in June. I'm proud all the time. Are you?
You saw that clickbait I posted on Flame's page about her interview? I did that.
Oh, yeah, Lauren did that. You see all the backlash I'm getting. Because pride starts with you. And baby, they are not going. This is for the black community or any community that wants to be relevant and heard and seen. They're not going to see us until we see ourselves. Black folks, we got to see us. Gay people, we got to see ourselves. You have to see you first before you decide for somebody else to come in and accept you. Acceptance starts right in that person who you're looking at in the mirror. Some of y'all so lost when you look in the mirror, the reflections just turn around looking like bitch, you don't know who you are. Why the fuck should I know? I'm just saying it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here at Laugh and Learn. Here at Laugh and Learn, we are not trying to get you to do what?
We are not trying to get you to change your mind.
We are simply trying to get you to use your mind because why?
Some of you hoes ain't got one. Some of y'all just real dumb, real talk, ain't got no common sense. I just see what I see. Let me get in my Keisha voice. No, we appreciate critical thinking here. This is a zone, a judgment-free zone. Come with it correct, because the Flame Mess are some of the smartest listeners on the social media. And if you come dumb, we hand you your ass, starting with the bitch with the blue glasses. Hello.
And on that note, Nick, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on all social media platforms at Nick Smith News.
And you can find me on Instagram at Lauren Armani H, as well as on YouTube. I am Lauren Hogan and Flame.
You can find me on the host troll, but not in this dress. No. No, you can catch me on Instagram, which is right here, Monroe Flame. Tonight we will be doing Love Lounge between 6:30 and 7 live. Come and join us for the conversation and the music. We propose it, Lauren. And where else can you find me on? Oh, on Facebook, Marcus Flame Monroe Parker, and on what else I got?
YouTube.
Yeah, on YouTube under Flame Monroe.
Because we don't promote Twitter.
Yeah, my Twitter is full porn. It's full on porn. I promise. It's,
so on that note,
it's a reason that the young black boys are being corrupted on my Twitter page. Because good God.
I love you guys, and we will see you next week.
Bye, Flame Mess. Next week, Tasha K. Week after that, Tiffany Haddish. It only gets better. Thank you, Kendall. Thank you, Tribble. Thank you, Flame Mess. Peace.
Laugh and Learn is a production of the Black Effect Network and iHeartRadio. Our executive producer is Tiffany Haddish. The show is produced by Tribble. Our theme music is by Chrissy Payne.